It's 7 o'clock. My name's Sally Dymond, not Nicole and Justin. Thanks for joining us on the training call tonight. We're going to be talking about the dashboard numbers, and we're going to share some of the info from the Dymond call and some of the new reports. So let's go. Can you see it now? Can you see the screen? Yes. So this is a training site that we have. Some of you know about it and some of you don't. Actually, I only really just learnt about it recently. So everyone can mute themselves. Let me just go in and mute a few people. I think everyone's muting away. Good work. All right, so the training site here is demo.asiastage.com, and the username is demo with a password 2018 demo. So if you are training your team, then you can use this page and no one's privacy, numbers, dashboard is revealed to whoever you might have in your team. So let me just go ahead now. Hopefully you've captured that information there, and this is recorded, so don't worry if you didn't. Okay, so when you log into your dashboard, well, you probably can't see that, so let's share this. This is what it looks like. So it actually looks like your own dashboard, but you can see here they've got the company name, the country. So if you are wanting information on another country, all you're going to do is select this country's flag here. When you do that, it lists all the countries that ASEA is available in. So if ever you've got a question about is ASEA or can the products be shipped to a country, this is one really quick way of finding out if it can, because if it's here, then it means that they can ship to it. So obviously we're in Australia and we will click Australia, but I'm going to keep it on the America because when I was playing around before, this is just what we're going to do tonight. But when you click on any of these countries, all of the information comes up in their language as far as the library. So when we start to click through, you'll see. So that was by clicking on here. If you want to go in and place an order, a one-time order, you will do it by clicking the shopping cart. When you do that by clicking the shopping cart, you do not earn loyalty points on that order. So I always recommend to people, if they are going to place an order and they are on auto ship and it's just an extra order that they are doing, they should really do it as an auto ship order. And that's by going in and clicking the manage auto ship. Now, when you click on manage auto ship, hopefully this is going to work, it comes up with distributor ID not found. But what will happen is it should come up with your auto ship where you can go in and edit, and you can go and create another auto ship with a shipping date. And that just means that you will earn loyalty points on that order. Just make sure you go in and delete that order after it has shipped. Otherwise, it will ship again the next month. That way you are earning points. So it's not just a one-time order. When you go to enroll someone, this is the little button that you'll click here to enroll a new person. So when you're enrolling a new associate, it will hopefully open and work. And it will ask you what country they're in. So it doesn't matter where they live in the world, you can enroll someone from your back office. You just need to make sure you click on the drop-down box here, which country they're in. Now, when you click on that, it is going to open that country's shopping cart with that country's enrollment orders. So you don't have to be an expert to know all of this. It's going to click them straight through all that information. The next one there is a support button and an email button. So they're the basic elements at the top there. In the corner, you have your menu. So in your menu, you have your My Account, which is where you'll find all of your information, your associate information. If you need to edit your address for any reason, of course, you can do it there. And if you want to change your password. Most people have their placement preferences set to balance. This is where the computer is automatically going to place your associates left and right. If for some reason you are wanting to place people on an opposite leg, for whatever reason, you can come in here and adjust this, and it will then place people on your left and right leg. But most of the time, you'll have it set to balance. So we go back to menu. In the My Business tab, this is where you'll access your smart wallet. When you're dealing with your smart wallet, it will only become active and available after you've earned your first commission. So you can't go in and start and activate your smart wallet without money being in there. A lot of people try and do that and end up with an error message. So just understand that that only activates when you start to earn money, and a SIA smart wallet will send you an email to tell you to activate it. You can manage your auto ship here, make a new enrollment, place an order, just like those fast buttons that I showed you at the top. The website is how you edit your contact information and change your website. So when you click on this, when you get your teamasia.website, this is obviously how you do your contact information. We'll just go back. Back to website, and we go to settings. So just say, for me personally, my website is thebodyspecialist.teamasia.com, and this is where you will place that address here in this business site address. So if you wanted to make it something other than your username, then this is where you'll put it. You'll check to see that that is available. You can add a photograph. Now, when you add a photograph, a SIA will check that photograph, and this process will take a number of days. So it's not going to automatically populate. They're going to just make sure it's not a nude photo of you. And that way then you can come back and check it. So don't keep trying to upload that photo because you're not seeing it. It will take some time. You can then select what you want your SIA front office page to look like by clicking on one of these. If you want something individual and different, you can type it in here, and that again will be approved by a SIA, and they will take up to 15 days to review that. Moving right along. Recognition, you can spend a bit of time in there having a little look. The library contains lots of really, really great information. Now, often people have associates or friends, contacts in other countries. If you have people in another country, let's just click on one here for an example. Let's just say you know someone in Bulgaria, you don't speak Bulgarian, and that's probably not a good one to pick. So let's pick another one. Let's pick Denmark. So say you've got friends in Denmark, and they're asking you how much a SIA is. When you go in and you click the price list for Denmark, it's not coming up in the demo site, but on your back office, it will come up in exactly Danish in their language, and you'll be able to download that and save it and send it to them, or give them the information that they're looking for. So that's how you can change that language and the country there. If we just put that back to America, when you're in the America site, you'll generally find every single bit of information that a SIA has available in the America site. As you know, due to the NFR and some of the regulations here in Australia, some of our information is limited, so you'll always find great information there. So it's a good idea to spend a bit of time in the country, different countries there, and you'll find some really cool videos, slides, science, and presentations. So when I first started, I spent a lot of time just clicking on every single thing I could find here. So let's have a quick look here at the dashboard, because this is something that you should all understand when you're starting to build a business, because the numbers really do matter, and it could mean the difference between you being bronze one week or silver, and there's quite a big difference in the pays when you start to hit these executive ranks. So this is not my back office. I wish it was, because look at that beautiful volume coming through the left leg there. So if we'll start here on the left, you've got your name will appear, your ID number when you're active through. So that means that your account is active through till this date. So every month you need to place a 100 personal volume order in your account, and that's going to tell you when that month essentially is up. Binary qualified means that you have one active person on your left leg and one active person on your right leg. When you have that, it means you're binary qualified, and it means that you can earn money on your left and right volume business that's coming in. So if we drop down here to the performance here, it's got your lifetime rank. So that's the rank that you've achieved that's the highest. Your paid rank is individual each week. And then it's going to give you a breakdown. So when I teach people, you really want to be setting a goal to get numbers in every single box here. So you can see executives that are really working, that have a really, really great business, they have numbers in every single box. So that's what you want to strive for. So If it helps, you can go on and you can save this, put it on your vision board so that you've got, you know, a vision of these numbers coming through your business, because it will happen if you just keep working. And then every single week, total downline left is this week. Sorry, this is the number of people in your downline. Isn't that crazy? 21,000 people on this person's left leg and 3,600 people on their right leg. And then this is their group enrollment. So imagine getting 235 new people joining your business in 1 week on their left leg. And you can see they have quite a leg problem here, where on their right leg, they've only got 2 people joining. But when you come over here, you can see what their volume is that's coming through their business. So on their left leg, they're generating a huge amount of volume. This is per week. 270,000, and on their right leg it's 19,000. That's still a pretty good week, because that's a double diamond week happening right here. Double diamond is earning 60,000 volume over 3 weeks. So they're adding up this lesser leg in 3 weeks. And then you've got your total left and your total right. So if your legs are not balanced, like you can see with this person here, they're only being paid on their lesser leg, which is this 19,000, which means that they've got a huge amount of carryover. So that carryover carries over to the next week. And it's like it's being banked. Someone needs to mute. There may be a bit of noise there. I don't know who that is. Rodney, maybe? Mute Rodney.
Can I just ask you, why would someone make sure that their right volume has so little and their left volume so much? Why wouldn't they have swapped it around?
Well, what happens is, let's say, for instance, I don't know whose leg this is. It's just an example. It's probably no one's, but it might be someone's that they've used. When you start building a business, and say that you've got a triple diamond sitting on your left, and it's a very active triple diamond who's generating, you know, 100, 200,000 volume in their business on their left leg. But on your right leg, you haven't got that volume yet. So what happens in 99% of every ASEA business is you have one leg that runs away. And you can't help it. It's a really, really good problem to have, because you really only want to be focusing on building one leg. Because when you're building 2, you're working twice as hard. But when you're in an active team and you've got an upline that's giving you some spillover, or you've got someone that's really building a business underneath you, you can't help what happens here. So like I said, it's a really good problem to have, but the idea is we want to try and keep these legs balanced and creating the same amount of volume. Does that make sense? But if this person was to go off auto ship and not place their 100 PV in the month, they would lose all of this carryover. So that's why it's really, really important to be on an auto ship if you are building a business, because at some point, someone in this right leg is probably going to join and start to build a really, really fast business, like we've seen some people doing already. And when someone comes in and they starts to build really fast, then it's really nice to have this carryover. So my goal is always to want to flip legs. Because
Kelly?
Yep.
When you went over in the section where the blue My Details are, you said you had to have 100 PV. When you're hitting silver ranks, don't you have to have 200 PV personal volume? You're correct. As soon as you hit an executive rank, you do need an auto ship of 200 PV. Okay. Thank you for that. No worries. Someone has a baby in the background. I'm not sure who it is, but if they could mute, please. I can't quite see who it is. Okay, so we have, I hope that makes sense to people, total left and total right. So generally on a Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, I will look at my total left and my total right, because that is what the computer is going to pay you on, this number here. So it will make more sense when you start to really watch your numbers and start to understand it. Your PGV is your personal group volume. So this means that it's all of the people that you have personally sponsored and that they have personally sponsored. So the idea here is you want your personal group volume to be quite big, because that's showing you have depth, and your personal group volume 3 is 3 levels deep. So that's your duplication that starts to occur. And then you just have some averages here that the computer just generates over time. Now when we come back here to our left, it's our enrollments that are happening left and right. So I'm always looking at these numbers, and you want to be projecting
you know, and seeing some of these numbers. Now, that doesn't mean that it's you personally putting people in, it's what your team is doing. And then you've got direct to 300 legs here. So when you start to go through the executive ranks, to be bronze, you need 2 direct to 300 legs in that week. To be silver, you need 3. To be gold, you need 4. To be diamond, to be platinum, you need 5. To be diamond, you need 6. And to be double diamond, you need 7. So the idea of this is that for you to keep growing as a leader, you need to keep bringing your team with you and developing these direct to 300 legs. So we're going to go into the direct to 300 report in a minute, and you'll be able to see how you can track. And then, of course, down here, you've got all of your enrollments. So I'm always watching this to see, you know, what people are doing. And if I see this appear, a 0, I will quite often ring the sponsor of this person, which shows here. And I will say, great job enrolling this person, but they've enrolled without an enrollment order. What happened there? Because what's the point of signing up for an associate at $60 without actually getting any product? So you want to make sure that there hasn't been a mistake in when they entered that, and that this person's not going to be waiting in 4 days for product to arrive when actually, you know, they haven't actually ordered any through here. So you might just want to double check that. But you can see what's happening in your business by how many cases people are ordering. Now, we might just slip to some of the changes here. Oh, let me just find where it's open. Okay, so this was from our Dymond meeting, and the new auto ship projection report that came out. So sometimes when we look at our auto ship projection that's coming each week, which I didn't show you, let me just slip back to that because I'll show you where you find that. Sorry. Okay, so can everyone see that okay? Yep. So projected auto ship is what we see down here. So you can see so for the next period that's coming, period 30, you can see their projected auto ship is 162,000 on their left and 17,000 on the right. So this is kind of something you might want to put in your vision board here as well, because this means that if you do no work at all next week, you're pretty much guaranteed to get this volume through your left leg and this volume through your right leg. So this is what's creating that residual income. And this is why auto ship is really important as a business builder, because this is what keeps your business moving when you decide to go on holidays. So when I was in Hawaii the first week, I had a Dymond week, which was amazing because I was sitting on the beach not doing any ASEA with my phone off, and I just knew what was coming through my business left and right was a certain amount of volume. So you want to project these numbers on your vision board so that you can see really clearly that vision of what might be. But when you've got a projected auto ship, what was happening is what actually was coming through our business was not as accurate as this. So ASEA ran a few reports, and they're changing it. So the old way was about 15 to 30% above. So when you were projecting it, what actually came through was not quite hitting the mark and was not accurate, not as accurate. What they've done now is they've made it closer to plus or minus 5%. So you can see a projection auto ship of 2,845. What the actual one is that was the old way. They've made it much closer. Does that make sense? So it's going to be much more accurate now when we start to look at these numbers. So they eliminated all auto ship templates that failed in the last period and were not recovered. And they're using the following templates for the projections. So in the prior period, as in last month, if there was a successful auto ship that processed, then they're using that successful auto ship, because when someone's auto ship declines, it just declines. And then the system still recognizes it as being an auto ship, and it was still counting that even though it hasn't worked in the last 3 or 4 months. So they've started to clean that up and make it more accurate. So if an auto ship was successful in June, the volume from that template will be included in the July projections. If an auto ship was not successful in June, the volume from that template will not be included. If a new associate enrolls in June, the volume from their auto ship will be included in July. Exceptions. So where actuals may be higher than projections, the new auto ship template created and run within the period after the Saturday projections were created, an existing template was modified during the period, or a previously failed auto ship template is recovered. So that's where the plus or minus 5%, or a manual order converted to an auto ship during that period. So the combined summary of all Dymond, so they used this over all of the Dymond team, and this is how they've generated these reports. Now, the one thing they've also changed here is the binary tree, which is coming soon. There will be a report on that, and they're changing the way the tree looks, which is very exciting for people that like to look at how their tree looks in a picture format. And what they're doing is they're locking the inside legs. So that's going to prevent people from just going and placing people at random on their inside leg, because we want to be building an outside leg so that everyone is on a team leg to start with, and then everyone becomes responsible for their inside leg. Whereas if people start placing people randomly on inside legs, they're kind of left sitting there. So the only person that can place on an inside leg now is a Dymond account. If you want to place someone on an inside leg, you still can do it, but you need to call customer support to do that. So this is going to help unclutter the tree by making people automatically go to those outside positions. They have fixed the scrolling issues. They're compressing the white space. So you'll know when you look at your tree, it's been very hard to see because it's been so spread out. So they're trying to bring that back into a more condensed version. And they're starting to add a color scheme like we had in our old version. For those of you that were around a few years ago, we had the colors. So the colors are going to depict the different executive levels. So when you take a bird's eye look at it from an outside, you can see, you know, how many ranks you're starting to get in your team. And they're also removing this empty picture box. So it's going to make it much nicer to see here with their details still in it, but just removing that picture. So they're really trying to condense it in so that it's much easier for us to navigate. Now, Miriam's favourite report here is our Director 300 leg report. I don't know if any of you are really playing around with this, but I use it a lot, especially when someone calls me that is an executive and says, I need a Director 300 leg to be at a certain executive rank. So if you've got volume of, say, 2,900 on your left leg and 3,500 on your right leg, you really only need 100 more volume on your left leg to be a silver, but you need 3 Director 300 legs. So these Director 300 legs can come from either your left or your right leg. It doesn't matter. And as long as you've personally sponsored this person, then they need to have 300 on their left and 300 on their right. So when you click that Director 300 report up on that front screen of your back office, it will bring up a report that looks like this. So you can accurately see, now they've taken out the names of these people and the ID numbers, but you can see, are they a Director 300 leg here? Yes, yes. You can also see their associate count here. Now, if you click on any of these blue numbers, they will expand out. So you can actually see who these associates are. Over here, you've got left personal active and right personal active. So it's 5 out of 23 people are active. And you can click on that and actually keep drilling down to see this. So to be a Director 300 leg, you need to be binary qualified, which means you have 1 person active on your left and 1 on your right. So you want to make sure that there's a 1 and a 1 in the front here, at least a 1. Obviously you want more, but you need at least 1 active on the left and 1 on the right. You also need a left volume of 300 and a right volume of 300, and that's a total volume. So you can see here, this person here is 490 and 46,000, so they're over 300 on both legs. They have more than 1 on their left and they have 1 on their right, which means they're binary qualified, they're over 300, tells you here, and they're active, which means they have a 100 auto ship in place. and they are a direct to 300 leg. When you come down here, you can see this person is not a direct to 300 leg, but you can see they're active and they're binary qualified. They are, you know, they have at least one here and at least one here, but they're not 300 here, but they've got a huge amount of volume here. So what do they need to do to be a 300 leg? They need 300 volume to come through their left leg. So you would look at this person here who might be Sue, and you would say, Sue needs to have some business come through her left leg. So you would look here at her personal legs here, 3 active, and you would say, who is it that's active on your left leg? And you would say either you as the person looking for a direct to 300 leg is going to say, I need some product. So I'm going to place 300 volume worth of product through one of these 3 people here. Now you can either do that by logging in as them and placing an order if you know their password, or you can ring associate support and you can say, I'd like to place an order with ID number, whoever this person might be, that's one of these 3. And that's going to make this box here show 300, and that's going to say yes, which means this person is now going to have 3 direct to 300 legs. They're going to have 300 volume come through their left leg, which means their total volume is going to be, what, 3,200, and what did I say, 3,900, which means they're going to be paid at silver. So being paid at silver is a lot better than being paid at bronze if you were really only missing that 100 PV and that direct to 300 leg. So as your report goes down the page here, you can start to see what everyone's volume in your business is, left and right. Are they active? And you can really start to see. So it's a really cool report that you can start playing with when you start to develop a team, and you can see. So your goal as an executive is to start really building direct to 300 legs, because you don't want to be in a problem where you've got lots of volume coming through your business, but you don't have direct to 300 legs, because that's the gold that makes the momentum pool and the money really start to come in. So, you know, set a goal to have 2 every week, then 3 every week, and help your team really be hitting those ranks of 3 and 700. And you can drill. So when you start, yep.
So the difference between, you said, if you do auto ship, if any of those people are on auto ship, what's the difference between placing an order with using their ID and if you know their password, or auto ship? You just have to cancel the order.
You can make it an auto ship order if you want. That's going to earn them loyalty points on their account. In doing that, you can't generally generate that order on today's shipping date. It's generally a day or 2 ahead. So if it's Saturday morning and you're chasing a direct to 300 leg and you go and try and place an order as a one-time order in their account, it will ship and process today. If you make it an auto ship order, it won't process till the day you click it, which is probably on Monday. So it's not going to serve your purpose in getting a direct to 300 leg for that week.
Perfect.
Does that make sense? So yeah, so that's the difference. When you're trying to get volume and points, placing an order on the spot, that's the beauty of being able to do it on the spot. You don't earn any loyalty points. It does make someone binary qualified. It does, you know, get points through to get direct to 300 legs. So every time you click on one of these blue numbers, it will drill down into a drill down report. So you can go in and start to play with some of that. It's really cool to kind of start to see some of your numbers when you get numbers coming in. One of the other new things I did here is associate search report and saved templates. So when you go into your menu and you click associate customer search, you can start to search some really cool things here. So they've got some presets. So if we go back, I'll go back in a minute once I've shown you this slide. But there's renewal, so you can go in, you can see birthdays, you can see fast forwards, who's made successful fast forwards, who's active in an active fast forward, renewal, and you can set up your own presets here. So you can manage templates and you can start to select templates that you want to start to see. You can see who enrolled yesterday, you can see who enrolled last week. You start to get a really nice set of reports that you can start to generate. I can see questions there, but I'll come back to them, so I can't. I've only got one screen going here. They also have a fast forward addition to the associate report, like I just showed you. So you can see who's got active fast forwards and contact them if they need help. And that's what the report looks like in here. Now, there's also change to the site feedback form process. There's new language support coming for all of these languages here below. So you can click on that and it's a much easier format. That's coming on the 1st of August. So some of these things are live and some of them are still coming. And they've got additional email addresses here and you can capture images here from the file and clipboard. So it's going to be a little bit more user-friendly. So ASEA is always changing there and updating. Now, if we go back to the demo site here, when you go up into, this is where you'll find your Director 300 report up here, the one that we just played with. Volume totals is another really, really good report to play with. I don't know if they're going to show me info here. Let's have a look. Okay, so it is going to show me. So let's see if it shows me. Yep. So when you've got your volume totals report, this is another really fun one to look at, because quite often I look at a huge amount of volume come through my business and I go, where on earth did that come from? Who has been placing orders? Because it might be well above my auto ship projection, which is generally what happens, because a lot of people are out there just placing one-time orders. They're not on auto ship, they're just ordering it when they need it. But if you go in and click on this large number here, 270,000, we're going to be able to see exactly who, hopefully, has ordered this product. Maybe not. But when you do click on it, yep, here we go. So when you do click on it, it's going to have their name. It's got their name, their ID, and here, and you can actually see, was it an auto ship order? Did you personally sponsor them? So you're going to be able to accurately see where all that volume's coming from. So when you scroll down on this page, which I'm not sure it's going to let me do it, that will add up to 270,000. So you can kind of have a sneak peek in and go, oh, wow, look, they just ordered. Or, oh, wow, they just ordered 400 PV. And you might want to ring them and go, or send them a note and say, hey, you know, great you ordered, you know, how's everything going? It's a bit like you're having a bird's eye view into who's doing what in your business and where is all that volume coming from. So you can really start to see where everything is coming from. That makes sense? So that's really cool. So you can do it for your left leg and your right leg and start to hone in. Another thing that I'd like to show some of the new people here is when you click on view full report, it's got all of your team enrollments. So you can start to change this. And so same thing here, all these blue things you can click on. So just say you've got someone in your team that's working really hard. I'll pick on Richard because he's doing amazing. And say Sharon wants to go, okay, let's see who's Richard been sponsoring, and I'm really trying to find someone's associate number. As soon as you click on sponsor name, it's going to alphabetize all your people and put them all together in groups. So you can start to see, you know, in groups, how many people have Sharon sponsored, how many has Richard sponsored, how many is, you know, someone else sponsored. Or you might want to go by join date. So you can click on join date and you can see who has enrolled, you know, in date order. Who is it? Or you might be looking for people on your left leg or right leg, or you might be looking for an associate. You can click on the name here and it will come up in alphabetical order down here. So that's a really, really cool thing. Another thing that they did just add was this one at the top. So quite often I'll go in and I want to have a look at, see what someone in my team is doing. It has to be someone in your personally sponsored team or team. So if it's a spillover, Miriam's not in my direct team, but she is in my left leg. I cannot go into my back office and type in Miriam and get what her dashboard is because it's not part of my personal group volume. It's part of my spillover. So you can only do this function here with someone that's in your team. So say I was looking for Julie. Julie is someone I personally sponsored. I could type in Julie. It won't work because this is not my dashboard, but it will come up with a drop-down box here where it'll say Julie McDonald, and I can click on that. As soon as I click on that, it is going to open up like I'm looking at her dashboard. So when I click on this, so I just had to clear that screen. When I click on Julie and I click search, It's going to click on here. I'll click in her name. It's going to show me her ID number. So it's a really quick way to find someone, but it's going to give me all of her dashboard details. So I don't actually need to log in as someone in my team to see what's going on. I can actually see it all right here. So if someone rings you and says, I need some help, I don't know what my volumes are, you can type it in here and it will automatically come up. So it's really, really fast, easy way to see someone. If they're not in your team, then Miriam will give me her password and I can go in and see for sure what, you know, she needs help with. But if it's part of your personal group and your personal team, then that's a really fast way for you to see it. I have no idea what the time is, 7:35. Maybe I'll just look at some of these questions. Why can't I do that? Let me just stop that there. Is there any questions here that someone wants to blurt out? Can you please put the dashboard link up again? Okay, thanks, Gillian Sash. Cover NFR. Yes, okay, I'll cover NFR ordering. When someone in the downline cancels their auto ship, someone cancels their auto ship, it disappears from that projection of the auto ship. So it just means that that volume is not going to start coming through your business. It doesn't really affect their position. So it's not like anything happens. You know, we just keep building underneath. So it doesn't affect it directly. It affects it as in volume. And, you know, obviously you want volume coming through your business and you want them to be on auto ship. Does that make sense? So do they need to be a Director 300 or can they be a high rank? What do you mean by that, Robin? Yeah, if my only direct enroll person in the right leg cancels auto ship, do I need to enroll another one in there? Yes, you always need to keep one personally sponsored person with 100 PV order on your left leg and your right leg. So if that person goes off auto ship, you're not going to lose the volume coming through your left and right leg if you are on auto ship. All that's going to happen is those points are going to keep carrying over each week until this person puts an order in for 100 PV or you sponsor someone else on that right leg with 100 PV. What you can also do is ring associate support if you need product and you can place that order against that right person that has gone off auto ship and that's going to plug their ID number with 100 PV order, which means you will become binary qualified and be paid on your left and right leg. Does that make sense? And then the next person you sponsor, I would put on the right leg. So when you're enrolling left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, like I did when I first started, I never have that problem where I have someone not on auto ship because I've got a lot of people that are evenly balanced left and right that are my personally sponsored. So generally when you get in a team that's building a really, really long leg and you have one person that you plug and that person goes off auto ship, you know, people are crying all the time to me that, oh, you know, there's 800 people on my right leg and 30 people on my left leg. And I go, well, too bad, so sad. You know, you need to put one more person here to keep your business alive. And that's just, you know, be grateful for the 798 people you got and just start putting some more people down there.
Sorry, Sally.
Yep.
What I meant by my question was, once somebody becomes Director 700, are they no longer a Director 300 leg?
No, they are a Director 300. Anything over Director 300 is a Director.
Okay, great. Thank you.
If you've got them all Director 700s and bronzes, that's perfect. Because you know that that's pretty much going to be a guaranteed Director 300 leg for a really long time. That's what you're trying to build.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's all the questions there. Now, I was going to go over an NFR order. So when you do an NFR order, let me just share my screen again. When you click up here on ASEA, this is a really, really cool feature as well when you start to go through the ranks. Now, this is an American back office, so they have this source here, which we don't. Let's click make this Australia now and see what happens. Okay, perfect. So it's giving us the Australian one. So this red banner here is because we live in this country where we have to do compliance training for the ASEA liquid. So if you have this appearing on your back office when you log in, please click here where it says click and take the small quiz. It doesn't matter if you get it wrong because they'll kind of go and you'll just click false instead of true. It's really, really easy. But that clears your back office for compliance, which means you can start to get paid. So it's just something that ASEA has had to put in because of the liquid. to make sure that we answer some of the questions right when we've got liquid out there in the market, just for the TGA. Now, when you come down here to qualifications, when you're going through your ranks here, say you're a Director 300, you're really striving to be a Director 700. When you do this, what happens is the computer is going to give you what you need to achieve here with these green circles. Now, because this person's got huge volume, it's not really going to show here. So let's go back to a double diamond. So to be double diamond, you can start to click through the ranks here. And this is one thing I really played with in the beginning, because it shows you need 200 PV, like Miriam said, when you're an executive. So it says this person's got 216, they need 200, so that's green, that's good. They need to have someone active on their left and right, which this person does. Now just say that they had someone not active on their right leg, this would actually be red. So this one would be red and half of this circle would be red. So that's immediately telling you that you are not binary qualified and that it's a person on your right leg that you need to activate. It's telling you that you need 7 of 7 Director 300 legs, so it's giving you the green mark because they do have 7 Director 300 legs this week, and it's giving you what you actually need in these really cool numbers. Now, for this person to be triple diamond, this is where you can see. So for them to be triple diamond, they actually need a 3-week lesser leg total of 75,000. So that's where you add up 3 consecutive weeks, and it's got to add up to 75,000. But they're meeting all of the other requirements. So I always say, if you're a Director 300 striving to be a Director 700, you need to have 700 volume on your lesser leg, you need an active left and right, and you need 100 auto ship. So go into your back office and play around with this. It's really, really cool. You can check your order history here and you can get to your dashboard. Now, if you want to add order source, this is where you can do it. So this little tab here where it says buy now, as soon as you click on that, I'm not sure it's going to work here, but it's going to take you to a shopping cart, which is the US NFR. Oh, look, it is working. So this is exactly what it'll look like. You're going to begin shopping and it is going to, well, it probably won't show all this, but it'll show the source. You can click on the source there and it'll just ship to your address. It's just done through a different shopping cart, but they haven't got that horrible NFR website we had to use for the liquid way back when. So that's how you'll order your source at the moment. Hopefully soon that's going to change. And then, of course, the fast forward, you can see the flyers, your reports, you can see everything there, your loyalty points. If you want to order and redeem points, you do it here. So you can click there and that's going to take you through where you can start to spend your points and get free flyers. And any flyers or promotions going, when you click on these, it'll give you the information. Okay, have I answered everyone's questions? I think so. Does anyone else have any more questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, go for it.
You were saying that if you have a friend who orders and you just buy it on the shopping cart, you don't get the points.
Correct.
But I'm ordering for a friend of mine who doesn't have a credit card. And so I just order it and it comes and she gives me the money in cash. Okay. And I pay it with my credit card. But does that mean that I don't get the points and I should put her on an auto ship in order to get the points?
Yes. If you can put her on, you can either make her as part of your auto ship, which means you're only paying 1 shipping fee, or you can set up a second auto ship and that can be hers. But if it's set up as an auto ship, then you will earn loyalty points. But if it was me and she was doing it every month, I would just combine it with yours. So you're only paying a $10 shipping fee.
$10 would be nice. It's more expensive in Europe, I can tell you.
Oh, sorry, you're in. Okay,
it's really a huge portion of the whole price, actually, the shipping.
Yeah, I think that is changing. That is how it was here, and they have just adjusted that. So stay tuned. I think that's becoming a worldwide change that is taking place in increments.
So put her under my auto ship and just order 2 boxes for the future.
Yes, that's what I would do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have any questions? I know it's a lot of numbers and it's a lot of info, but you can rewatch the recordings. But just open your dashboard and start clicking. You can't upset, hurt all you're going to do is learn something. And the more you learn, the more educated you become, the more knowledgeable you come. I have my dashboard open every day, 2 or 3 times a day. I look at it, because when you know your numbers, you know where your business is and you know what you're looking for. So, you know, just keep it open and keep it there. And when someone new's enrolling, it's exciting. In the beginning, you know, you just go, whoa, look, someone's put someone in, that's exciting. Or you're starting to watch your volume. The week I went double Dymond, I have no idea how it happened, but I had 37,000 volume come through on my lesser leg, and it just exploded. And that was the week where we had lots of promotions going on and buy 3, get 1, and people just came out of the woodwork and ordered lots of ASEA. So stick it on your vision board, take some snapshots, and yeah, go for it. So how do you find preferred customers? That's a really good question, Jackie. I actually don't really have any preferred customers, because that's one of the reasons, because you can't really find them. You can find them in associate search. They are changing that. I think that's something that is coming, where they're going to change it. So can you still see my screen, or do I just stop it? When you go up into here, associate customer search, you can put in, you should be able to put in a preferred customer option when you run that report. So that's one way, and it'll show down here as your preferred customers. So just play around with it. Go in and don't be afraid to click. You know, you can, when you click on binary tree, I'm not sure this is active yet, but you can zoom in and you can zoom out. So they're going to be removing these pictures and making this much better. See, at the moment, when you've got a really big tree, I don't even look at this anymore, because it just becomes too, you know, big. But in the beginning, when you're learning how the tree is populated and formulated in the left and the right, it can be a little bit confusing. So visual people can really see this and start to get a picture of what it looks like.
Sally, I've got a question for you.
Yep.
I'm not really sure I'm following. When you say that you want to bulk up your volume for that week and you want to go and put an order in under somebody else's account, is that affecting their ordership? Like, if you don't cancel it afterwards, is that going to come onto their bank account?
Well, you don't do that. If you're going to put an order through someone else's account, you're just placing a one-time order. You're not going in and making it an auto ship order, because that means that the auto ship order is earning them points, and it's messing up with their, you know, if you're setting it up with your credit card and you forget, then it means that it's going to populate again. If you're really good at making note, you can do it, but it's earning them loyalty points. So if you want to be really nice and earn them some loyalty points at the same time as giving them some volume, sometimes if you've got one of your associates that's got enough product, they're struggling financially, you know, I quite often will keep someone's account active. If I need product and I need volume on that leg, I will help them out by putting an order through. That keeps their volume left and right without them maybe having to place an order. So while they're building the business, you might be nice enough to put an order in and, you know, keep their business center active at the same time as, you know, funneling some points up to you. So I always try and place orders, you know, down the bottom somewhere so that everyone can benefit from the volume coming through. Or you start to strategically place it to help people in your team to get ranks. So when you start to get, you know, numbers and people in there, then, you know, it all starts to make sense. So I say to people, just, you know, do the next step. So if you're a director 300, just learn what you need to do to be director 700. When you're a director 700, try and be director 700 every week, because then that's building a really strong base to then be bronze. And when you hit bronze, you want to be really getting bronze every week. That's a really strong, sustainable business. You don't want to just go for a rank to say that you're a rank and then have your points and your volume drop right off. Just consistently keep building every week. Keep your auto ships going up every week. And that way you've got a really strong business that's building. Does that sound good? Did everyone learn something? Was that fun, Miriam? I know numbers aren't really fun, but Stuart, yes, good.
Yes, Sally, that was as fun as you did it. It made it fun.
Without me dancing. You don't want to see me dance tonight after my day today.
Okay. All
Anyway, tomorrow on Expert in the House, I will be here again. It's a Sally Dymond week, and I will be interviewing the wonderful Sharon Waters, strong woman. It will be an athlete presentation, so I will be doing something different that you haven't seen before, and it will be going through some of the athlete studies. So if you know athletes, gym people, triathletes, wrong people, gym people, get them on. Sharon's going to do her thing. She'll be on the 8 o'clock call. I'll just talk Sharon up on the 6 o'clock call, and we're going to have fun. So that's me tomorrow night, 6 and 8, advancinglifeintro.com. That'll be the link for that one. I think that's all. I don't know who's doing the 8 o'clock tonight. I'm sorry.
Sally, can I just ask you quickly, the 2 calls tomorrow, are they both going to be recorded?
I will probably only be recording the 8 p.m. one.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
Yes. Okay.
Sally,
Yes.
I just wanted to mention that on the in the Shine Bright on the flyer for tonight's call, and it did it last week too, it says New Zealand 10 o'clock. But there's only 2 hours difference between Australia and New Zealand. So I missed it last week, and so I went on and checked it, and it said 10, and I went, no, it's not.
So what time is it?
It's only 2 hours difference from
9 o'clock. Okay. I will get Trendy to change that.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. I think that's it. So we'll see you back in. See, I talk too much. 8 minutes. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sally. Great call.
Bye. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.